Hello again and welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to build on last week's tutorial where I showed you how to create a very simple motion graphics template in After Effects that you can use to create titles and captions in your Premiere projects. So we covered all the basics then, and now I just want to show you a little bit more in terms of animation, and we're going to look at how to create a title for your videos. Fairly simple title. I just want to show you the various features that we're going to add into it. So first of all, this title, you're going to be able to change the text in it to anything that you want. So we can change that. If we make the text too short, you'll see that the line looks inappropriately long. So I've made it so that we can change the length of the line just to make it match up exactly with what it needs to be. You can change the font that you use and change it to something else. Again, any font that you want to use, you can change it to bold or italics, all caps, as you wish. In addition to all that, you can change the color of the titles, and now you have a green title. You could have something else for the subtitle color. They don't all have to be the same, so we could make this one more of a yellow color, and we can change the color of the line if we also wish to do that. I'm not suggesting that this looks particularly good, but it's an example of what you can do. You can of course change the positioning and the overall size of the caption on your screen and put it just anywhere that you would like to have it, and you can change the scale of it to make it just whatever you need, and it will still retain its sharpness and all of its features. So this is what we can create. I'm just going to reduce the size of it back down to 100% and put it back in the middle of the screen. We can now just go back to the beginning and show how this title animates. So the line grows and the text appears to rise above and the subtitle sinks below the line, just like that, and then it reverses to exit. So let's jump into After Effects and see how we can add the animation and add all the features that you need in order to be able to customize it for your own videos. I'm now in After Effects and we'll start by creating a new composition. I want this composition to be 5 seconds long because I'm going to let the title remain on the screen for 3 seconds, and I want 1 second at the beginning and 1 second at the end for the animation. So here we have a new composition, and we'll start by putting in the essential elements that we need for this. So first of all, I'm going to put in the main caption. I'll take the text tool and type, this is the main title. Just going to select it all and bring it up a bit to about 100 on the size. So that's it. I'm just going to align it in the middle, and we have our main title. I'm now going to add the subtitle, so I'll make sure that I don't have that selected, and we'll just type in, that's somewhat too big. I'll align it in the middle. I'll just go to the characters and make it 50. So we have our main title and our subtitle, and now I want to draw the line in between them. I'll make sure that neither of them are selected in order not to draw a mask onto this, and I'll take the pen tool. I have it set so that there's no fill, but I do have a stroke of 5 pixels on this, and the color of the stroke is currently white. So I'll just draw the beginning and the end of the line where I want that line to be, and you'll see we have a line of just about the right size. I'm just going to align that in the middle of the screen so that it's exactly right with the title and the subtitle. It's slightly low. I'll just take the pointer tool and I'll just raise it up very slightly to make it look as if it's in the right position. So there we have our main title and our subtitle in the approximate size that we want them to be. So we have it running for 5 seconds, and what we need to do is add some animation to it. So first of all, let me take the line, and what I'm going to do is make the line grow from the middle. So in order to do that, I'm going to add an animation that is called trim pass. Trim pass allows you to trim the path that makes up that line. So in order to do that, we're going to start at the very beginning and have the line be starting at the 50% point and finishing at the 50% point. So it's got 0 length, but it starts in the middle. I'm going to click the little stopwatches for the start and end in order to show that that's animating, and I want the line to animate over about 10 frames. So in the space of 10 frames, I want the start to go back to 0. And I want the end to go to 100. So if I just click home to go back to the start of the timeline, you'll see that the line animates out. And then I want it to reverse that at the end. So I'm going to take these first 2 keyframes, I'm going to copy them, I'm going to paste them back in again with Control V, and I'm going to move them right up to the end. So at the end of the timeline, they'll be back to, the line will be back to 0 length. Now I'm going to take these 2 keyframes and copy them with Control C, paste them back in with Control V, and move them to about 10 frames before the end. So now if we go back to the beginning of the timeline, you'll see that the line animates out to full length fairly quickly over 10 frames and then disappears again at the end. With After Effects, the sequence or the composition generally keeps repeating. So let's now animate the main title and the subtitle, and what I want to happen is for the title to appear above the line. So what I'm going to do is take the main title and I'm going to add a mask to it. So with the main title selected, I'm going to take the rectangle tool and I'm going to draw a mask that it is going to appear above. Now I'm making that mask quite large and I'm making it run right to the edge of the frame because we don't know how long the title is going to be if we change it in Premiere. So I want the mask to be big enough to cover whatever text we want to put in. Now the mask generally is hiding the title, so what I want to do is invert the mask. So I'm just going to check and say inverted. So now we need to animate the text so that it starts within the area of the mask where it's hidden, and then it will rise up and appear. So the way in which we do that is to add an animation to the text, and we'll add position to it. So now we're going to be able to animate the position of the text without affecting the position of the mask. So we'll start here. I'll just animate the position and we'll move the text down until you can no longer see it. We'll then move to when the line is complete, which is at 10 frames in. I'm just making a keyframe at that point in order to establish the position. I'm going to move to 1 second and I'm going to change the position back to what it was. So I'm just going to put it back to 0 there. So the title will animate up from the line over the course of 10 seconds. So you can see that it rises above the mask and the line and it appears as it goes ahead. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to take these keyframes and duplicate them in the same way that we did the other in order to reverse the animation. So I'll take this keyframe, I'll copy it and I'll duplicate that, and I'm going to move that keyframe out to about 4 seconds. And then I'm going to take this keyframe and I'm going to move this out to just the point at which the line starts its animation. So let's see how we go now. So the line animates and then the title appears, stays in place, and then disappears again, and the line removes. So we want to do some animation with the subtitle. In this case, I think to have it drop under the line might be a bit repetitive with the main title. So in this case, what we'll do is I'll take the subtitle and we'll just animate the opacity of the subtitle. So we'll start off with the subtitle at 0. So just after the line finishes its animation. So moving to the subtitle, then we're going to change the opacity in order to make it appear. So I'll go down to the transform properties of the subtitle. We'll move to the point at which we want it to start appearing. So that would be after the main title has appeared above the line. Then we want at that point to start the animation with 0. So I'll just click the stopwatch to make sure that we've got a keyframe added there, and then over the next 15 frames we'll move that opacity up to 100%. So I'm just going to type U in order to see all of the keyframes so that I can determine where things need to be animated. So this is the point at which the main title begins to disappear. So we want to really have the subtitle gone by that point over 15 frames. So let's go to here and just add in a keyframe at that point on the opacity. Move to where the main title starts to disappear, and then move the opacity down to 0. So let's look and see how that works as an animation. Just press home and then space. And that seems to work absolutely fine. So we've created the animation exactly as we want it, and now what we need to do is we want to make a motion graphics template out of that. So I'll open it in Essential Graphics and we'll start to move in all of the elements that we need to animate within that. So I've clicked on Solo Supported Properties. I'm going to give this a title. I'm going to call it Animated Title. And it's pulling all its details from this composition that we've created. So first of all, what I want to do is take the main title and add that in. So I will just take the source of that and I'm going to call it main title. And I'm going to edit the properties as we did before in the previous tutorial and just make sure we've got full flexibility to change the font as required and all of the other things that we may want to do in terms of bold and italics and so on. Now I want to be able to change the color of this, so I'm going to click Animate and add in Fill Color RGB, and I'm going to take that, I'm going to make it into white. And I'm going to take the fill color and add it onto the properties, and I'm going to say main title color. So we can now change the color of the main title. Let's do exactly the same for the subtitle. So this is the subtitle. We take the source text and we add that in, and we're going to call that subtitle. It already has all the properties set. It's taken those up from the last time we've done that, and I'm going to add fill color onto that as well. Going to make it into white, and I'm going to take it up and add it into the properties and call it subtitle color. Okay, so now we need to deal with the line. I'm going to go to the shape layer, which is the line, and I'm going to take a couple of parameters that we can use to control this. Now we don't want to take the fill color in this case because you remember there is no fill on this line, but we do want to take the stroke color. So this is the stroke and this is the color. So we want to take the stroke color in this case, not the fill color, and add that in to the properties, and I'll call this line color. And then finally what we want to do is we want to take the length of the line, which will be the scale of it. Now I want to unlink the height from the width in this case because I want to be able to change the length of this line without affecting the thickness of the line. So we just take scale and add it in, and I'll say line size x, y. That shows that we can alter that. So we've got everything that we want in the essential graphics panel, and what I want to do, just one final thing, and that is I want to move to the middle where the animation is fully displayed on the screen, and I want to click on set poster time. So what that will do is that will set how the thumbnail will look. Rather than have it part way through the animation, I just wanted to show the full picture of how the text appears on the screen within the thumbnail, and then we export that. And as usual, After Effects asks to save the composition first, so we do that, accept all of those, and it's done. So now moving into Premiere, we can go to graphics, and in my demo library, here is the title that we've just produced. I can drag that onto my sequence, and you'll see that it appears pretty much the way that it did within After Effects. Let's just look at how it animates. If I press space, we can play it. That's how it animates, just as we expected. And here we have the opportunity to change all of these things that I showed you at the beginning of this demo. So a good example of this would be that if we create a much longer title, you see that the line is now no longer long enough. So what we can do here is go into the properties of the line and look at the X dimension of that, and we can just extend that out until it matches exactly the length that we require. So if I go back to the beginning here, you'll see that the title works perfectly, so you can control that as you wish. If you wanted to have a thicker line though, you could change the dimensions of the other axis of the line a little bit here. You can make it thinner or you can make it thicker as you wish. All of these things are alterable. The size of any of the text, the length of the text, what you put into it is all perfectly good. So that's our animation finished. I hope you found that useful, and I hope that it's given you the tools that you need in order to make your own animations work the way you want them to. So the key things are: make sure that you have the text selected when you draw the mask onto it so that it's attached to that text. Make sure that you invert the mask. Make sure that you add the attributes to the text in order to move them independently of the mask, and that's all of the things that you need to do. So I hope you found that useful. If you did, subscribe to my channel and you'll get a new video every week or so. See you in the next one. So if you've enjoyed this video and benefited from it, then please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell and you'll be notified of the new videos as they're uploaded. I'm going to post a new video each week covering Premiere Pro, After Effects, Audition, Photoshop and Lightroom. So if you're interested in learning about these projects, then please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell and get a new video every week.